Welcome to the Legacy Leaders Podcast. Are you doing the best for your client to help them create their legacy? Are you creating a plan that goes far beyond finances to help people ensure that it becomes the driving force behind all decisions? On this podcast, hosts Katie Beth Hand and Stan Miller will help you with growing your practice and your clients' peace of mind. Together, they bring the best and brightest minds to share with you how to help your clients develop their best legacy. And now, here are your hosts, Katie Beth and Stan.
Welcome to the Legacy Leaders Podcast. I'm your guest host, attorney Adam Diamond, sitting in for Stan and Katie Beth. I'm a proud member of the Legacy Leader Network, which is a group of professionals focused on helping families pass on a lasting legacy. I'm also the owner of Diamond Legal in Northern Illinois. Diamond Legal is your family's law firm, where your future is our focus. We help with things like divorce, custody, wills, trusts, and real estate closings. Today, I'm really excited about my guest, insurance expert George Chase with Comparion Insurance Agency. George, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, thanks, Adam. Thanks for the invite. I'm happy to be here.
So, George, why did you become an insurance agent?
That's a great question. I've asked myself that many times. Back when I was younger, I spent a lot of time in the customer service business. I was a McDonald's manager for many years. And I wanted to kind of branch away and become get into more of a sales-oriented career that's still focused on customer service. And the insurance business seemed like a really good fit.
Wow, from McDonald's manager to insurance agent, that must have been a heck of a transition.
Yeah, I didn't have to go and do overnight maintenance shifts anymore. It made my wife and my young children very happy.
Absolutely. So how would you describe what you do?
Well, I help people solve problems, and I help people with managing everything from their risk management profile to their monthly budgets.
And how do you do that?
Well, we have a number of companies that we work with that provide insurance products, insurance services. And when we work with our clients, we try to do the best that we can to find the right company with the right products at the right price for our customers.
So you're not just limited to one company and one product.
That's correct. Yeah. The great thing about Comparion is that we're not just working with one product that we can offer our customers. We can go to literally more than a dozen companies here in the state of Illinois with different markets and find that things work differently with different companies for different homeowners.
So you can customize things based on everyone's own specific situation?
Yeah, much like you see in the commercials, we customize your insurance so that you only pay for what you need.
So how did you end up with this particular agency?
Well, I met the folks at Comparion 3 or 4 years ago and really got a feel I was working with one of their top producers, and I really got a good feel for his role and the company culture. And so I said, hey, could I meet your boss? And I met his boss and really enjoyed that conversation. And so I asked her if I could meet her boss, and that conversation went really well. And next thing, I'm working at Comparion.
Now, what are some of the common issues you help with?
People will come to us with either a price increase from their current carrier, or they'll come to us with a need, like a new issue, a new car, they're buying a new home, they were referred to us by one of our referral partners. Or it could be just that the service fell apart. They used to be really good for them, and now they never hear from their agent, things of that nature.
So are there any common misconceptions about what you do?
I think a common misconception about the insurance industry is that it's best to get in and get out as quick as possible. One thing I try to advise people on is not to make this as short a conversation as you can, because insurance is a pain point in a lot of ways. But I try to inform and educate and advise people to, let's spend a little bit of time. Let's talk about what you have to protect and how we can best protect it. And that can take a little bit of time.
Does setting up insurance have anything to do with family or legacy planning?
I would say, yeah, everything from your actual physical property, anything from a guy who collects cars and wants to pass them on to his sons, or a family with a big, beautiful home and they want it to go on to their heirs, things of that nature, just from a physical property aspect, but also with respect to your liability. You don't want to leave leave your assets exposed. We talk about liability protection as CYA, cover your assets, and try to provide the best advice possible.
And I think that's important because as an estate planning attorney, I always recommend having a good discussion about liability protection with an insurance provider, because unfortunately, us greedy, money-grabbing lawyers, one of the first places we look when something bad happens and we're on the side of the person claiming or trying to get money is, do you have good insurance? Can we negotiate with the insurance company? And understanding what protections you have and having good coverage is a great thing for your family and your legacy. So thank you for how you serve people in that respect.
Oh yeah, no, I couldn't agree more.
So what does the phrase family legacy mean to you?
I think one's, I don't know, possessions or passing on your wealth, your possessions to your heirs in a physical sense. And legacy on a less tangible level to me means, how do I pass on my legacy to my kids? What sort of legacy am I leaving behind for my children, my family? So it works on two levels.
Yeah, I know, agreed. Could you share of course, hypothetical story of a client coming to you when things went wrong or didn't go so right before they talked to you?
Yeah, I've had numerous occasions where a customer has seen either something like a rate increase that they didn't feel was fair, or the service that they used to get from that customer wasn't quite right, or maybe even a combination of the two. I had a lady with several policies with her insurance company, and she had them each in the envelope or the package that they came in. We were sitting at her kitchen table, and she literally had 7 envelopes on her kitchen table, one for each of her vehicles, her home, her rental property, and her liability umbrella. And they all had different renewal dates. They all had different billing cycles, and she couldn't keep up with it. And I said to her, I'm going to make this so easy and so smooth for you. We were able to put everything on the same renewal cycle, the same billing cycle. She only had to deal with me on all of these policies. So it turned out to be a win, really.
Absolutely. How about a story or a hypothetical situation of things going right or a big win for a client?
Yeah, I've had a few of those where people would have like situations where their insurance company, in particular their auto insurance, took a spike, maybe a youthful driver with a driving record that keeps getting worse, and they have a hard time finding coverage. I've had people come to me and say that their company is non-renewing their policy, their entire family, because of one family member that lives in the house. I've been able to take situations like that, and because we work with different companies, we might have mom and dad and the home and the umbrella policy with one carrier, and then Junior, if you know what I'm talking about, Junior is insured with company B, and they have more of an appetite for that sort of a situation where he may have tickets, accidents, etc. So we're able to keep it all insured, keep everybody covered, keep everybody protected, and then I'm able to be their one point of contact on all the policies.
It sounds like that's a big value add you're able to provide.
I'm super happy that I'm able to do that. I've been in situations where we call it a captive agent. You have just one, you work for one company, you're an employee of that company, and you sell their products, and you hope that everything continues to work out well. But in situations like the current home and auto market atmosphere, it really, really helps to have a whole lot of companies to go to.
Can you tell me a little bit about that current atmosphere and what you're seeing?
Oh, yeah. There's been a real tightening of the markets, the auto and home insurance markets, to where pricing's gone up due to heavy losses. on the insurance company side, and underwriting criteria has been really tightened because the insurance companies are wanting to take on a little bit less risk than they may have a couple of years prior. So it becomes really, really challenging.
And so working with an agent that can shop multiple companies can help people navigate that. So if one particular company isn't being as competitive as they should be, a good agent can help people understand the opportunities between different companies. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't have it any other way. It's really like I'm taking our clients' information and their needs, and I share it out to our carriers and say, okay, who's got the best price, the best fit for what this family needs? It works out really well.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. What is one of your biggest challenges?
The internet.
How so?
Well, people can buy insurance on the internet. And an analogy I use, it's like just going and buying something from a vending machine. Do not buy your insurance from a vending machine, because when you walk up to that vending machine, you're looking at that and something's $1.50 and other things $1.75. And oh, here's a snack over here for $1. I'll just take that. And people tend to do that when they buy insurance on the internet. They're buying the cheapest thing they can possibly do and possibly get away with, so to speak, and they're done. And after you purchase something from a situation like that, you don't get the service and the expertise, the knowledge, the support that you really need when it comes to insurance policies, because really they're about risk management, and you don't want to just make a transaction online and say, oh, I'm covered. It's not the best way of doing it.
So don't buy your insurance from a vending machine, because you just might get what you pay for. Hypothetically, of course.
Hypothetically, of course. Yes.
So what do you like best about helping people with their insurance needs?
Oh, I thought my door was open and I just was visited by my German Shepherd.
Hey, we have a special additional guest to this podcast. Yep. What is your German Shepherd's name?
Lizzie is here seated at my left, and she's going to help us out, apparently.
Well, Lizzie, the German Shepherd, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. We welcome all forms of family legacy, no matter how many legs or what their fur factor is. With my beard here, anyway. All right. So,
she may or may not be a licensed advisor, so we'll have to take her advice.
This podcast reflect that the German Shepherd has not made any comments with respect to insurance or insurance-related services, or given any legal advice. Nobody's giving any legal advice on this pod. All right, enough of that. Gotta go a little lawyerly on you. Anyway.
Well, yeah, legally it's going to be fun. Who said it can't?
Yeah, it's job security for me. Anyway, so what do you like best about helping people with their insurance needs?
Well, two things. One, I love problem solving for people. I get to put on my project manager hat and go to work for them. And two, I love nothing more than being able to deliver something positive to people. And more often than not, I'm able to deliver something more positive to people and better than their current situation. Not always, but usually.
And that leads to a really important question. So when someone is looking, they realize, okay, I don't want to buy my insurance from a vending machine, and I want a trusted advisor to help me. What are some things they should think about or look at when they're looking for this person to help them with their insurance needs?
I think it's fair to say that people should probably talk to more than one advisor for reasons of getting two sets of eyes, have two different companies working for you. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, but get to know the person, get to feel as though you can trust that person and trust that the advice they're going to give you is solid, and make sure that what they're doing is in your best interest and not theirs.
So they should.
And that's how I like to operate.
Yeah, so they should have the heart of a teacher to educate you enough about what you're doing, but also make sure you really feel like they got your back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So George, who is an ideal client for you?
Ideal clients are people who are willing and open to having that kind of discussion. It can be a challenge when someone just wants rock bottom pricing and may not want to listen to what I feel might be some sound advice. But anybody who's willing to sit and talk and have a conversation and understand that I'm going to go to work for them and do the absolute best I can to protect them. And when we talk about, as far as like material stuff, homeowners, maybe a family with a couple of cars to protect, maybe the need for a liability umbrella to help protect them, and again, CYA, keep their assets covered. Those are ideal clients.
And don't forget, a pro tip from your friendly neighborhood estate planning attorney: if you have a trust, don't forget to tell your insurance agent about it, especially for your homeowner's policy. Hypothetically speaking, of course, that's always a good thing to do, because some policies need to do a little tweak on the back end to make sure they know that it's in a trust. So
Exactly. Getting the named insured correct is very important.
So, George, how does someone find you if they're looking to have that kitchen table conversation with you?
Number of different ways. You can as easily as a Google search, Comparion Insurance, George Chase. I do have a LinkedIn page, and I do have a Facebook business page, but searching online is a great way. I do some networking. I partner up with people in similar professions, or professions that, like realtors and lenders and estate planners, where we're all talking to the same group of people, so to speak. But typically an internet search, if you want to do that, just Google Comparion George Chase.
Perfect. Well, thank you, George, for being an awesome guest. And thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been a Legacy Leaders podcast with your guest host, attorney Adam Diamond. My guest was George Chase. For more information, good lawyer talk podcast, good. For more information on Comparion Insurance Agency and the awesome work George does, you can visit his website, or you can check out the show notes where we will link all of his information on how to get a hold of George. So thank you again, George, for being a great guest, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Thanks for having me on. It's been a great time.
You've been listening to the Legacy Leaders podcast with Katie Beth Hand and Stan Miller. For more information on them and the show, please visit pinnaclelegacylaw.com. If you like what you've learned today, do share the program with your friends and subscribe wherever podcasts are found.